We're getting on the floor for this, okay? With my spooky blanket. We have a coffee. Have so many books to discuss today, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a overly ambitious fall TBR because fall is the best time of the year for the book girlies, for me at least. I can't wait for fall, for the chilly weather, for the spooky books, the high fantasy, romantasy, dark academia, thriller, psychological thrillers, hard-hitting romance, spooky books. I cannot wait. And I decided we're gonna make the most massive TBR possible and hope we can accomplish a good amount of them, okay? That's my plans, that's my hopes. I am back in grad school again for the second year of grad school, and I refuse to let that get in the way of my reading, okay? Because if I'm gonna have a good semester, I must be reading my books. So we have different categories. It's kind of all over the place, not gonna lie to you. Let's talk about all the books I would love to get to this fall, and hopefully we can read a good amount of them because like I just need that in my life. So let me know down below what you're planning on reading for the fall, what books you think I should prioritize, what books do you think I should put to the side. Let me know down below and let's get into all the books. I might not have a lot to say about them because sometimes I go into books blind based off the vibes my friends give me. So that's what we got for you, but we have some new series to start, new authors to read, we have some series to continue and hopefully finish. So let's get into it. So let's start with historical fiction, historical romance, historical fiction books, okay? So first of all, we have The Woman by Kristen Hanna. I've only read The Nightingale by her, and I absolutely adored that book. That book was beautiful, sobbing, gut-wrenching, and I feel like fall is the best time of the year for high fantasy, new worlds to get lost in, and also gut-wrenching books that will make you sob and cry at 2 in the morning. So we have The Woman. This is her newest release, I believe. I had a friend who lent me her copy, so I need to get to it soon, so I cannot wait. I've heard amazing things about this book. I don't know much about it, okay? It's the story of one woman gone to war, but it shines a light on all women who put themselves in harm's way and whose sacrifice and commitment to their country has too often been forgotten. About deep friendships and bold patriotism. On my list. Next, following suit with Kristen Hanna, we have Firefly Lane. This is my copy, and I've heard again amazing things about this one. It's about friendship. I think these two women and like their friendship over time and like their growth, their separation, they're coming back together, and just like their lives throughout this time that they have. 30 years of friendship. And I've heard really amazing things about it. That's hard-hitting, beautiful, love the life lessons and the friendship representation. And it's also a show. So we have to read it so we can watch the show. Again, sobbing, crying, that's what I need. Next, we have Lovely War by Julie Berry. This is a young adult historical fiction book or historical fantasy-ish book. I remember seeing someone talk about it and loving it. It made me really want to get it, and then I never ended up reading it. So I thought fall, perfect time for this. I think there's like gods and fates. It's during World Wars I and II, and I think it's just different POVs and people throughout this time. But I think it has to do with like war, love, loss, friendship, growth, and again, I'm excited to see what this is with like a magical element to it as well. So very excited. All the Light We Cannot See. Again, I've read The Nightingale, and that one just really was like so good that I've been wanting to read more historical fiction. And I got this one a while ago, but I never read it, so I really want to read it. But it follows our main characters, and they're in Paris, and it's during Nazis occupying France, and I'm guessing it's about love, loss, pain, heartache, beauty, tragic, growth, everything under the sun. So again, emotions. If you want to feel emotions, I'm guessing this will do it to you. And it's a Pulitzer Prize winner. So this is a classic. This one is very, I feel like, well known, but I really want to read it and hopefully cry my eyes out. Yes. Okay, next we have a sci-fi book because I recently read, well, we actually have two. So we have two sci-fi books. So I recently read Red Rising, and I absolutely loved that book. It was amazing, and it made me kind of want to dip my toes into more some sci-fi maybe and see if that could be my jam. So first we have Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is about to be a movie, so again, read the book so you can watch the movie starring Ryan Gosling. I don't know much about this, but it's about an astronaut with an impossible mission and an ally he never imagined. And I've heard amazing things about this one, so I'm excited to see kind of what it's like, if I enjoy the sci-fi genre, and it's just, you know, it's on my TBR. So hopefully we can get to it. Again, it's not super long. I read not Red Rising. Is that what I kept saying? So take back everything I just said. It's about dark matter. I read that one recently and really enjoyed it. And so it made me want to dip my toes into sci-fi. So we have Project Hail Mary, and I'm very excited. Again, amazing things, epic story of redemption, discovery, and cool speculative sci-fi. Excited. And next, along the same lines as sci-fi, we have Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. I read Red Rising, I don't know when, honestly. before. I read Red Rising and I did enjoy that one, and I've heard the series gets better as you continue, and I have the second book. And again, if we could hopefully finish some series, some trilogies. This is technically a trilogy, but there's also more books afterwards. I would love to get to this one as well and then read the next one and finish out that trilogy at least. But if I was your main character and this world has like different colors to represent your status, and we have our main guy Darrow and he's kind of living on Mars, and they're the ones that kind of work to make it inhabitable, and it's kind of him overthrowing the society and changing the way the world works. And so that's what we have, and this is book 2. So very sci-fi, kind of gives Hunger Games, dystopian vibes, but I did enjoy the first one. I think I did listen to it while I read it, so I wanted to say probably with this one as well. But that's what we have. He seeks justice to free his enslaved people. Darrow has infiltrated his world's brutal ruling class on a mission to destroy them. So I'm excited. Next, we have some thriller slash literary fictions, I think. I'm not exactly sure. But we decided that this fall will be a Stephen King fall, okay? And I have one book that I really wanted to read last year that I never got to. And then I have 2 other books that I recently acquired because I saw Kaylee on Book Talk, Bookstagram, BookTube reading this book recently and loving it. And then I bought it because I wanted to read it, and I've seen so many good things about this book. But the first one we have is The Institute by Stephen King. This one I think follows some kids who end up getting taken and put into rooms that are identical to the rooms they had in their childhood home. And I think there's like magical powers in here and some mystery elements. Very excited. Have not read a Stephen King before, and this one really intrigued me, and so I'm excited to see what my thoughts are on it. Next, the book I was referring to is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I don't know much about this book. It is like actually a brick, massive, but everyone who's read it has said it was one of their favorite books ever, and that it's so worth all the time you spend with this book. So I'm very excited. I don't really know much about it. It's about Kennedy assassination. It has some time traveling aspects to it, some romance, I think, some mystery, and I don't know. I'm excited to just get lost in this world, sit cozy, comfy, with a bonfire going and some coffee and just reading it and getting lost in this world. So I'm very excited for this one. And then my last Stephen King book, which I recently just bought because I saw it and I was like, you know what, why not? Let's do it. And that is It by Stephen King. If you guys know this, it's about a clown, okay? Kids and a clown and scary horror things, okay? I don't know exactly like the actual story of this book and like what its premise is, but I know there's a clown. I know that it's scary. I know that it's a movie and people like this world in this book. So I bought it today and I'm excited to see what it's about. It's a 2-part book with the children experiencing this like darkness when they're young, and then also when they're older going back to the town to kind of fight off this entity, clown, evilness. So I'm excited. Again, a literal brick. Next, we have some literary fiction, hard-hitting contemporary kind of books. A Little Life, okay? I have been wanting to read this book. I am so scared, okay? I did start it and then never finished it, but I did get the audiobook for it. I read like 2 pages. So I want to do probably an immersive read while I'm reading it. But again, I've heard scary things. People love it so much, but they hate it at the same time and would never recommend it. But it was beautifully written, but it's so gut-wrenchingly devastating. And again, I feel like fall is the time of the year for that. But I don't know much about this, but it follows, I think, a group of boys who are friends and kind of like their life over time and the things they've gone through, and friendship and loss and grief and heartache and just every emotion probably possible that you can experience. So if I want to feel something, this is the one. Okay, next is a series or trilogy that I want to read and finish because I read the first book a while ago and I loved it and I never continued with it. So we have Frederick Backman's series. I read Beartown and I loved it, but that one is a hard-hitting story following a group of kids and people's lives in this small town that is very hockey driven. Its income is determined basically by the hockey team, and so they really put a lot of value on the hockey team, and therefore things that are of importance or devastation are put to the side if it interferes with the hockey team. So there's lots of pain, lots of sadness, but like beautiful moments. Everything under the sun again. So if you want to feel something, this is it. But we have Us Against You, which is book 2, and then The Winners, book 3, to finish out this trilogy. So hopefully we can get to this one and finish it. And it takes place in a hockey town. There's snow, it's cold, winter, okay? Fall, winter, the rest of the year. So I would love to get to this one and actually finish this trilogy this year. Next are 2 more recent purchases that I bought that I really want to get to, and that is Pictures of You by Emma Gray. I don't know much about this one. I'm pretty sure it's more of a hard-hitting contemporary story. It says, what would you do if you could start over? Imagine having a second chance with the one you never forgot. So I believe our main character got in an accident with her husband. Her husband ended up passing away, but I think she lost some of her memory, and so her best friend from high school, he's helping her kind of recover her memory and figure out what's going on. So I'm guessing there's like a romance there, but it's also dealing with grief, loss, pain, etc. So excited. And then next we have The Bright Years. I saw my friend Destiny reading this book and loving it. Super short, so I feel like this could be something that we read in a day, but I'm pretty sure it's also hard-hitting, emotional, moving. It follows our two main characters who are married, they have a daughter, and then there's secrets going on among them, and so it's kind of showing the generational impact on yourself, your kids, with the secrets that they're being held. I think the main guy is an alcoholic, and the main girl, she has a child that he doesn't know about. So it talks about the fact that this book is a tender, true-to-life novel that explores the impact of each generation in a family torn apart by tragedy, but over time restored by the power of grace and compassion. So I feel like this is going to be like a hard-hitting, emotionally moving story, but it's super short, so hopefully we can read this in a day and see what I think about it. Next, we have some dark academia books, okay? So let's get into it. First is a classic. I feel like this probably was on my TBR last year. We have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This follows, I'm pretty sure, a group of kids. Something happens between them. There is a mystery. There is some secrets going on. There's pain. There's lots of things, actually. I don't really know. But it takes place in a school setting and with these kids, and they're dealing with something that occurred between them. And I think we're kind of uncovering the secrets and what has happened and what led to where they're at. So again, this is a classic fall book, dark academia. Hopefully we can finally get to this one. Next is a recent purchase, and that is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. It follows our female main character, and I think she's like a scholar. She has like a high level of education, but she's viewed as less than in this society and in this academy because she is a woman. So they pair her up with a janitor to kind of work on things. And they're basically trying to uncover, I think, the society, the magic, and this entire academy. There's magic, there's an academy, school setting, mystery, intrigue. Provocative standalone novel that deftly incorporates elements of science and philosophy into dark academia. So, next is a book I've had for a long time, but I would love to finally get to it, and that is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I'm pretty sure this is kind of like a whimsical, magical realism-ish book story, and I have this special cover that is absolutely stunning, and I feel like this is a good book for like fall, winter-ish season. Far beneath the surface of the earth, upon the shores of the Starless Sea, there is a labyrinth collection of tunnels and rooms filled with stories. The entryways that lead to the sanctuary are often hidden, sometimes on forest floors, sometimes in private homes, sometimes in plain sight. But those who seek will find. Their doors have been waiting for them. So I think it's going to be kind of like a mystical, magical realism story following this main character who's kind of going through these portals, doors, to uncover what's hidden within them. So again, I'm very excited. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like very dreamy. She's the author of The Night Circus. So I think it's very just whimsical, and I feel like it's perfect for this time of the year and the fall, winter season. Okay, next we have a classic dark academia book, and that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I have heard very good things about this one. I am scared that my brain will not comprehend this stuff, along with another book. Very much dark academia can sometimes feel like it's not gonna compute in my brain, but we're gonna hopefully make it through and actually enjoy the book. But this is a murder mystery with magic in an academic setting. So our main female character, she is the sole survivor of a horrific multiple homicide and has like dropped out of school, has had like deadbeat boyfriends, and she ends up being offered a chance to enter into the world's most prestigious university, fall. And she's kind of figuring out what is the catch, like why her and why now. And so she's searching for answers, and she discovers the Yale Secret Society and is set with the task to monitor the activities within. And so she's probably going to uncover some things, experience some things. So I feel like it's going to be spooky, dark, atmospheric, dark academia story. So I'm very excited to hopefully read this one and actually really enjoy it, because I know the second one's also hellbent, I think. So hopefully we can get into this one and really enjoy it. Fingers crossed. Okay, next we have two Olivia Blake books. Again, very known for her dark academia, I feel like, stories. But we have book one in this series, and that is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I don't know much about this. It says secrets, betrayal, seduction, power, welcome to the Alexandrian society. So dark academia, very much heavy on academic societies, magical realism elements to it. And so they have 6 magicians who are selected to earn their place in the Alexandrian society, and one of them is going to be picked. So they're kind of, I think, competing within each other to win this spot in the academy, while also uncovering dangerous enemies, dark magic, betrayals, and fighting for a spot. So I'm very excited. Again, hopefully if we love it, we have a series to continue. And then next is one of her newer releases, and that is Gifted and Talented, which I got this year and I've been like so excited to read. It says, money is a family business, magic is a family curse. We have 3 children and their father ended up dying, and they're kind of, I think, inheriting the inheritance that it comes with the result of that. But I think there's also a mystery element involved. There's probably some secrets uncovered. They also have magical abilities and they're gifted. So it's gonna have some magical elements to it, as well as a mystery and intrigue. So I'm excited. It says, where there's a will, there's a war. And I think they're probably competing for the will or doing a game, kind of like the inheritance games. So I'm excited to see what the story is. I've heard good things about it and I feel like it's gonna be a fun mystery and a world to get lost in. Okay, next we're also making this an R.F. Kuang fall. Okay, so that means you have to read some of her books. So one, we have FABLE, which is the book I was referring to about, if I don't know if my brain can comprehend it, but I'm very excited. I've heard really good things about it. Definitely want to take it slow. And I know it talks kind of about like translation, the evolution of history and language over time, and with migrations of people and how it impacts the way language changes over time. Our main character is orphaned. He ends up being brought to London to train in Latin, ancient Greek, Chinese to prepare himself to be enrolled in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as FABLE. And then I know there's also a magic system in here involving like silvers and words. So I'm really excited to see like how that impacts the story and how that plays a part in the story. But I've heard really good things about it and that it's just really insightful. So I'm excited to see if my brain will comprehend everything, okay? And then next we got her most recent release that came out today when I'm filming this, and that is Calabasas by R.F. Kuang, of course. I am so excited. I don't even know what this book is about, but I've made it my mission to read R.F. Kuang's books this fall. I've seen amazing things about her writing and her stories and how thought-provoking, hard-hitting, emotional, and beautiful her books are. So we have this new release, Calabasas. So we have Alice Law, whose one goal is to become the brightest mind in the field of magic, and she's put everything into it in order to work with Jacob Grimes at Cambridge, the greatest magician in the world, until he dies in a magical accident that could possibly be her fault. Grimes is now in hell and she is going in after him because his recommendation is the key to her future and he could hold her dreams in his now incorporeal hand. Unfortunately, her rival Peter Murdoch has come to the very same conclusion. So they're basically kind of competing, trying to figure out how to get this man out of here and how to be able to get him back to help them with their goals and their accomplishments. So we have kind of dark, atmospheric mystery, and I'm excited. I'm excited, and this cover is literally stunning. If my words don't make sense about these books, I'm sorry. I go into books very blind. Okay, next, let's do some romance, okay? I feel like fall is great for like hard-hitting romance, or slow burn romance, or just like fall fun cozy romances. So we have hard hitting. Okay, I need to finish my Boards of Toman journey and be able to be caught up before new books come out. So that leaves reading Claiming 7 and Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. This is book 5 and 6 in the Boards of Toman series. Each pair of books kind of follows different couples, but they're all part of the same friend group. The first 2 books follow Johnny and Shannon. The second 2 books follow Joey and Aoife. This book follows Claire and Gibbsy, and this book follows Lizzie and Huey. And they're very much hard-hitting, emotional reads following these kids' lives that often deal with very traumatic, difficult topics and things that they've gone through in their lives, and them kind of experiencing it, trying to find friends and happiness throughout those hard times, and them hopefully growing and overcoming these challenges that they're going through, while also having beautiful romances in here that I'm obsessed with. So I can't wait to read these 2 books. And also, if you want to cry, like, you will cry in these books. The first 4 books, I cried so hard. But I love them so much. Johnny and Shannon and Joey and Aoife, I love them, and their romances are so beautiful but so devastating. So I'm expecting the same with these 2 books. So I'm excited to get to them this fall when I need to sob my eyes out. Next is another hard-hitting romance. We have Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I've just seen this one's really just emotional. It's raw, it's very realistic to life sometimes, but it's devastating but beautiful. It follows our couple who their marriage ended up falling apart, and they realized that love wasn't enough to save their relationship. So now they're kind of co-parenting their kids, but then I think kind of things re-spark and they kind of rekindle their romance. And so is it too late for them to find forever, or could they even be better the second time? So I think it's kind of like a second chance romance, but with people who are married and now not together anymore, co-parenting. So again, I've heard just really amazing things about this book. It's beautiful, hard-hitting, and I'm excited to see and read this story because I've heard so many good things and I've never picked it up yet. So hopefully we can get to this one. Next is more of kind of a fun fall read, I think. But we have In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. I read Love Light Farms by her last year in the fall, and I really enjoyed that one. And so I have all of this little quartet of books on my shelves. So I figured getting to at least one would be a nice little palette-ish cleanser between some of her heavier, hard-hitting reads and epic fantasy reads as like a fun romance. I do have two more after this one, so I feel like these books would be really fun just to have in between some harder hitting books. And if this one is a grumpy farmer and a no-nonsense social media influencer have another chance at love in this charming romantic comedy. It gives fall with the flowers, so I'm hoping it's good like the first one, and they all kind of take place in the same book as Love Light Farm characters from that first book, so it's like an interconnected romance series, and I really did enjoy the first one. So I'm excited to read this one when I need just kind of an easy, fun romance to fall in love with. Okay, next we have my queen, my girl, Mariana Zapata. Okay, I read All Roads Lead Here and The Wall of Winnipeg and Me and adore those books. One of my all-time favorite romances. I love slow burns. They are everything to me. And so we have Wait For It by MZ. And again, I don't really know much about these books, but I know that she's a queen of slow burn, and I've heard amazing things about this one. So it says, our main girl inherits a new house, 2 little boys in the most painful way, and a giant dog, a job she really loves, more than enough family and friends. She has almost everything she could ask for except for a boyfriend or a husband. We're gonna have a romance. So I'm pretty sure she's probably dealing with some hard things that happened in her past, and now she has kind of a new role to play, a new life to kind of live, and then she's gonna fall in love with a slow burn grumpy man, and it's everything I want and more. So, and next along the same lines we have Colty by MZ. This is a soccer romance. I'm excited because I used to play soccer for 14 years, so I love that. So our main girl plays soccer. So it says, when the man you worshipped as a kid becomes your coach. So yes, she loved him when she was a kid, and now he's her coach, and now they're gonna fall in love. First proximity coach and athlete. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. And again, I've heard amazing things about her other books, so I can't wait to read more of MZ this fall. Next is more of a fun romance, I suppose. It's a sports romance along the same lines as Colty, but I have yet to read the Windy City series, and I really want to get to it finally, especially because it's now over, so I have a bunch of books I can read, but I have not read them yet, and I need to. So we have the first book, Mile High, which I know is people's least favorite, so if I don't love this one, it's supposed to be better and better and better. But I do know some people do love this one as well. But this is a sports romance, interconnected romance. Our main character is Sanders and Stevie. Stevie's a flight attendant for Xander's hockey team. Forced proximity, grumpy sunshine. I'm excited. Maybe not grumpy sunshine, but I think he's grumpy, like a playboy vibes. So I'm very excited to finally read this series and be a part of the obsession and the hype. I can't wait. Next is a book I wanted to read last fall, but I never got to it, so I'd love to get to it this time, especially during October for spooky season, and that is Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. This is a little contemporary romance, and I'm pretty sure what happens is the main guy has to marry before he's 35 in order to take over the business, and we have a Texan animator, Lark Thompson, moved to Galway, Ireland to restart her life and career, but not to be reminded of losing her husband by moving in next to the funeral home. And so I think they end up kind of fake dating and then falling in love, okay? Spooky season, he owns a cemetery or funeral home, like perfect, short and sweet. Hopefully it's good. I'm excited to get to this one. Next, we have a book that had come out this year, and I was so excited for it, and I never got to it. So we have to read it this fall, and that is Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. I love her. I love her books. And this one is another kind of romance, toxic romance, following our main character, who is a model, and the main guy, he is a celebrity. He's in a band. He's a singer, I believe, and it's just their crazy, chaotic whirlwind romance. And I've heard the ending is crazy. I've heard people loving it. I'm very excited. I love her writing. I'm excited to see where the story goes and how it ends for the next book. But I'm really excited for this one. It's, again, super short. I feel like I fly through her books. And I'm excited to have more quotes and romances to obsess over, or to bang my head against the wall over. Okay, our last really 2 romances, we have Left of Forever by Tara Dewitt. This, I don't know much about this, but people love her books and her writing. I do have Savor It by her. I don't know if it's supposed to be a companion novel or not, if I could read this one by itself, but it gives kind of fall. I don't even know if it is fall. But When and Ellis Bird fall in love as kids, had their son when they were teenagers, built a life together in the coastal town of Spoons, Oregon. They were made for each other until it fell apart. Now divorced in their 30s, Ren runs the bakery in town while Ellis works as a firefighter. They live separate lives, though they are hardly off each other's minds. They end up taking a road trip and I think kind of rekindling their romance and seeing where they can fall back in love and be back together. Again, I'm excited. I feel like her books are known to be like kind of hard-hitting and also emotional and kind of more life lessons in their stories with also having that romance in it. So very excited for this one. Next, my last kind of like romance is a reread, but I got the physical copy finally for the first time. I'm so excited. I read this one on my Kindle, and I'm in this like a chat on Bookstagram with a bunch of book besties, and we kind of exchange books every month or every other month. And so I got sent A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner, and guys, I love this book so much, and it's the pretty beautiful cover. I'm so excited. But this is again like a toxic romance, back and forth drama, crying, banging your head against the wall, infuriating but obsessive and loving. Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't read this one in such a long time, and I can't wait to reread it and annotate it. I saw him first, but it didn't matter because he saw her. He was my best friend and I was his. We couldn't be together, but we couldn't stand to be apart. And if you're not truly lovers, but you're so much more than friends, what exactly are you? I love this book so much. Look at it. Oh, I can't wait to reread it. Like, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Next, we have a bunch of fantasies, guys. Everything else is fantasy, fall fantasy. That's what has to happen. Number one is a reread, okay? And then a series, finishing the series. Crescent City, okay? I've read all of SJM's books besides Crescent City. I've never finished the series. And book 6 of ACOTAR is coming to us soon, okay? Maybe in 10 years, but it's been announced, okay? So we have to finish this series before I can do that. Again, I would love to reread Throne of Glass and ACOTAR again. That would be questionable this fall, but a dream nonetheless. But first we have the first book, Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. I have read this book before, but I want to reread it so I can binge the rest of the series. I did start it again, but never finished it. So I want to read it this fall and heavily annotate it. I did start annotating it, and I want to read this. This is an urban fantasy, so it has magical elements, but it's also modern day technology and society. And the main girl character, she kind of works for this store owner, finding mystical magical elements and objects. And there's kind of a murder mystery in here. There is unknowns with different creatures. There's a bunch of creatures in this book. I remember crying in this book. People don't always love this series of hers, but I'm excited for it. I remember when I read it and finally finished it, I really did enjoy it. So I'm excited to see what the next 2 books entail. But this one follows mostly like a mystery. She's trying to uncover a murder that happened, and she's paired with this guy who she's like forced proximity to work with, but also a romance blossoms. So I'm so excited to finally read this series. So we have Crescent City 1, and then we have Crescent City House of Sky and Breath. And then the newest one from the series, Crescent City House of Flame and Shadow. Bricks, want to get through them. Next, continuing a series, we have The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is the second duet in her series. The first one was called The Serpent and the Wings of the Night duet. I love that duology and that novella in between them. It was actually so good. It's like vampires, magical creatures, romance. The first book follows our main girl, and she's a human in a vampire world. She enters into these trials against a bunch of vampires trying to survive, and she has to be kind of forced to work with this other vampire. So good. So this is the second duet following a girl, one of the side characters from the first duet, and this is her story. And I know the second one also has come out recently. So I'm excited to work on continuing the series and catching up with all the releases. I really enjoyed the first book. I'm excited to see more about our main character, Mish. I think that's her name, Mish. Her story and where she came from and how she got to where she's at, and the romance that also blossoms in this. Very excited. And vampires, like, it's spooky season, okay? Next, a series I need to finally finish and catch up on, Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I read Powerless, the first 2 books, and novella in that series, and I did really enjoy them. I loved the first book. The novella was so amazing. I loved it. Second book, didn't love it. Felt like we were going in circles, and nothing that was brought up in the previous books were really brought up in that book, and it kind of made me lose my mind a little bit. But I'm excited to see where this one goes. This one's a lot bigger than the other ones. It's the final book in this trilogy. It follows our main character, Peyton, and she lives in a society where if you don't have magical powers, you're exiled, kicked out, you know, the whole vibes. And we have Kai, who is the ruler of this kingdom's son, who is also the like leader of the guards, and the other son is one of the princes going to become the king. So she ends up saving Kai and entered into this competition that happens in this kingdom where everyone competes against each other, and the winner is like praised, gets all these glories, etc, etc, etc. However, she has no powers and she has to pretend like she does. So we have a romance between our characters. We have a lot of bantering, back and forth, tension. I loved it. Second book again, not so much. This one, the last book. We have to see how it ends. We have to see where it goes. And I'm excited to see what happens based on the last book, what happens in here. I've heard a lot of interesting things about people's thoughts on this book, or like the emotions they felt while reading this book. So I'm excited to finally finish it, okay? So hopefully we love this one as well. Next, we're gonna finish a massive series, guys. And that is the Zodiac Academy, okay? I have read books 1 through 6 of this series, and it's time we work on finishing these behemoth of a books. So I'm currently in the middle of book 7. I listen to these books typically on the audio throughout my days, driving, getting ready, doing laundry, etc. So these are kind of more of a slow progress read, but I would love to finish it this fall. So we have book 7, Heartless Sky, book 8, Sorrow and Starlight, and then book 9, Restless Stars. If you don't know what the series is about, it follows our two twins, Tori and Darcy. They live in the human realm and end up being found and told that they are the heirs to Solaria, which is a fae realm. Their parents were murdered. They thought the twins were murdered, but they actually weren't. So they have to go to the academy, show they can display their powers, and graduate in order to have the right to take back their throne. And then we have the heirs, which are the 4 boys who, once the king queen died, the people from each elemental magic, earth, air, wind, and fire, they ended up ruling together, and their sons are now planning to take over the throne. So we have the twins versus the heirs. We have a lot of found family, friendships, enemies to lovers, romance, tension, back and forth, political schemes, high stakes, plot twists, heartbreak. It literally is never ending, okay? When things are going good, just wait for it to go bad. So I'm excited to see where things go. I'm loving the found family right now we have so far. I'm scared of what's to come because we have 2.5 more books to still go through. And I'm scared from things that have happened in previous books. We have kind of a bully romance that goes on. You hate so many characters at the beginning, but then you start to love them as the story progresses. It's great. It's great, okay? I'm scared, but I'm excited to see how this series ends. Next is a book I have recently gotten. It's part of a reading vlog I'm doing, and that is Revenge of the Forgotten by Danny Crooks. This is the first book in the Cursed Gods series. I found this book at a romance-only bookstore, and it looked intriguing, and so I bought it. I don't know anything about this series or these books. No reviews, but I'm very excited. So it says she's cursed to forget and he remembers everything. She kind of finds out about this magical world where her sister apparently is the evil ruler of it, and she kind of doesn't have any memory of this, versus the guy who remembers everything, and he is kind of working, I think, under the thumb of the sister, the evil sister. But also I think there's like a romance between the main girl and the main guy. I'm excited to see how this story goes, and if it's a series if it's a series that I'm gonna want to continue. But I'm very excited, and the cover is absolutely stunning. Next is a book I want to read for a reading vlog, and it's a shocker that I haven't read this one yet, but that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I want to read this series for the first time. What can I say? Okay, dystopian story. You definitely probably know what this book's about. There's a bunch of movies about it. I've seen all the movies, love all the movies. Now I want to finally read the books and see my thoughts on the books compared to the movies. It follows our main character Katniss. They live in multiple districts of like the wealthiest to the poor. They have the Hunger Games that happen, and people from each district compete against each other to win and get money to kind of survive afterwards. So I'm excited to finally read this trilogy, plus the new books that recently came out. So very excited. Next is a book I actually just bought today, but a friend on Bookstagram Book Talk raves about this book, and I'm so excited. So that is Direbound. I don't know much about this. It says the Wolves of Ruin novel, but she loved it, and that was enough for me. So it says only the worthy survive the bonding trials. She'll risk her life and her heart to be one of them. It's bond or bleed, duel or die. Failure is ruin. So we have Maren Cooper, the main character, hates the bonded, which are elite warriors who form mental links with massive, vicious dire wolves they ride. They live in luxury while Maren struggles to keep her family out of poverty. Maren must survive 4 months of training at the castle. She is bound to a feral dire wolf who refuses to communicate. Everything's a competition. Everyone is out to get her. Everyone except the dangerously handsome crown prince, whose attention adds another target to her back. Like, no, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This is gonna be so good. This is gonna be so good. I'm so excited. Next is a book I also recently acquired. This might fall under Dark Academia kind of vibes with also, I think, fantasy. But that is Nightshade. This book came out recently, and I've seen a lot of hype about this series or this book. But it's our main character, Ophelia, and she wants revenge. He'll burn the world down for her, but she'll burn his to the ground. So she ends up going to this university, where only the most powerful families have their kids go. She doesn't belong, but she gets a rare scholarship for the opportunity to investigate her parents' accidental death near the castle grounds. She ends up meeting Alex Green, son of the prime suspect that murdered her parents, and as far as she's concerned, he's a younger version of his billionaire father, a monster hiding beneath a beautiful facade. But when an unknown tormentor begins to stalk her, she realizes she may not be able to survive the academy on her own. It's Alex who becomes her ally and alibi for murder. As she begins to fall for the soft heart that hides beneath his hard exterior, her hunger for revenge wavers. Mystery, murder, revenge. Welcome to Sorrow Song University. Like, tell me that's not perfect for the fall. Tell me it's not perfect for the fall. I'm so excited. I have work in 18 minutes, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, next is a trilogy I have not read, but everyone really loves the series from what I've seen. And it gives whimsical, magical realism, kind of fall, winter season. I don't have the first book, but I have the second and third book. But it's a Belladonna series. So we have Belladonna. I need to get it. But we have Foxglove and Wisteria. I don't know much about this, besides I think there's like poison involved. There's romance, magic elements, whimsical writing, magical world. People love this trilogy, so I'm very excited to get into it. It's like a gothic romance full of love and vengeance. Immersive gothic fantasy blends mystery and magic into a morally complex world. It's atmospheric with desire, betrayal, and of course, death. I'm excited. Next is a series to continue. Okay, we have lots of series we want to continue. Hopefully we can get to some of them. But we have the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. I read the first book, Guild, have not continued. I would love to continue with the series. I've heard really good things about it. I've seen people recently talking about it again, saying how much they're loving it. So I really want to get into it. And I played through it on Kindle Unlimited, but I do have the second one. And it follows our main character. It's like a king, is it King Midas retelling? She was like turned into gold, and she's at the prized possession of the king and ruler of this society. And it kind of takes on from there. The first book is kind of slow, kind of setting up the storyline, but I think it gets kind of more crazier and more high stakes and plot driven as the series progresses. So this one says, caged for 10 years, I lived in a cage inside King Midas's golden castle, but one night changed everything. I may be out, but I'm not free, not even close. In the game of kings and armies, I'm the gilded pawn. The question is, can I outmaneuver them? Next, another series I really want to continue, okay? And that is the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I love JLA. I read the From Blood and Ash and Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by her. I did the immersive read and I loved it. And I really want to continue with it. Or I listened to an audio and I really enjoyed it. And I've been missing this word. I wanted to go back to it because the second one was actually so good. The first one was like, okay, whatever. Like, I read it a long time ago, reread it. It was fine. Second one made me really invested in the story. And now I can't wait to continue with it. I want to do the immersive read while listening to it, while also annotating it and reading it, because there's a full cast of characters. There's so many different magical creatures and elements and political schemes and plot twists and high intensity. First book follows our main character, Poppy. She is the maiden who is going to be given to the gods. She is kind of kept secret. She wears a veil over her head. No one knows what she looks like or who she is. And she kind of was raised to basically be given to the gods. But we have a bunch of different opposing forces. We have like vampires, shapeshifters, werewolves, this dark force that comes and is trying to start a war amongst Poppy's kingdom, and there's a lot of things that we don't really realize and truths that we're finding out. That we have Poppy, who was raised a certain way, so she only has one mindset, but now she's being able to explore and open up her mind to all the different possibilities, and realizing that maybe the way she grew up wasn't the way that it actually was best and the most honest living. And so she's kind of uncovering all that. But there's romance, there's comedy, there's found family, there's friendships, there's schemes, there's political intrigue, so much. I cannot wait. I am doing a specific reading order where you intermingle the Blood and Ash series with the other series, and they intermingle, and it's like a prequel series mixed with the present day series. So I'm very excited. I have a few of the other books on my shelves, and I would love to just get back in this world and see what happens. Next, we have a book I didn't even realize came out, but that is Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. This is book 2, following Fear the Flame. I saw this when I was in Boston, and I was like, I have to get it. I have to get it because I enjoyed the first book, but I'm excited to see where the story continues and goes. Saw it and I was intrigued by it, and then I've seen people talking about it and I'm very excited now. But that is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This book, what is it about? It's a masterfully woven tale of imperial intrigue from an electrifying new voice in epic fantasy. After 24 years of peace, the reign of Bruson the Brusque has come to an end. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 exceptional warriors and thinkers and strategists compete to replace him. When one of them is murdered, it falls to Nima, the Emperor's brilliant, idiosyncratic high scholar to find the killer and fight for the throne. She believes she's alone, but we are here to help. All she has to do is let us in. If she succeeds, we will win an empire. If she fails, death awaits her, but we won't let that happen. We are the Raven, and we are magnificent. So, I'm excited. We have trials, we have competitions, we also have like taking over, we have magical elements. I don't know if there's romance in here or not. I don't even know, but I'm very excited to start this new series and see what my thoughts are on it. Again, I love a good massive brick to read, okay? Next, we have A Tribute of Fire. I have some people talking about this one. I don't know much about it, but again, I see people talking about it that I trust. I'm going to probably buy it. But it says there's only one rule, survive. There's only one way to win, run. The tribute game is on. It's up to Leah to lift the goddess's curse, restore Locust to his former glory, and change the fate of every young woman destined to follow in her path. Trials, competition, games, my favorite thing ever. I eat it up. So excited. Next is an epic fantasy series that I've been dying to read, okay? Have I read it yet? No. Hopefully this fall. But we have Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I have the first 2 books in the series. Again, I've only read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, but I really want to read his fantasy books. And this one they say is the best one to start off with. So we have Mistborn, and then we have The Well of Ascension. And I'm just excited. These are classic high fantasy books. It follows our main character, and the world has been a wasteland of ash and mist, ruled by the immortal emperor known as the Lord Ruler. Every revolt has failed miserably, yet somehow hope survives. Hope that dares to dream of ending the empire and defeating the Lord Ruler. A new kind of uprising is being planned, one that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the determination of an unlikely heroine, a teenage street urchin named Vin. Political uprising, overtaking the throne. Yes, please. Thank you. And next, I said an R.F. Kuang fall, did I not? So we have the Poppy War trilogy, R.F. Kuang. I've been wanting to read the series for so long, and I'm so excited. Do I know what it's about? No. No, I don't. But I've heard that it's emotionally devastating, it's heartbreaking, it's hard to read, it's gut-wrenching, beautiful, amazing. Everything, again, all the emotions, I'm pretty sure is in this book. But it's very war heavy and the realities of war. We have our main character who is a war orphan named Rin. She passed the empire-wide test to find the most talented youth to learn at the academics. So being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not easy at Sengard, the most elite military school in Nakan. Targeted by rival classmates for her color, poverty, and gender, she discovers that the gods long thought dead are very much alive and that she possesses a lethal, unearthly power and aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism that could be the weapon the empire desperately needs. War. I'm so excited. War, politics, heartbreak, gut-wrenching beauty. I want to be so attached to fictional characters and stories that I'm sobbing over ink on trees. Okay. Next, we have a fantasy romantic book that was very popular when it came out, and I have yet to read it, so I want to read it. And that is Heavenly Bodies. And I feel this is also perfect for the fall because it's like kind of magical, whimsical. I think it has to do with the constellations a lot. There's a romance, so I just need it for the fall. Okay, that's what I need. It says it's a new romantic series that blends Greek mythology and shadow magic with the tantalizing enemies to lovers romance that will rewrite the stars. In the world ruled by the cruel and merciless stars, Alara has been cursed by the fate. A prophecy promises she will fall for a star, that it will kill them both. I'm so excited, and I've heard the writing of this is absolutely beautiful, so it's just perfect. Perfect for the fall. Next is a series that I've had on my shelves for a very long time, and I bought like 3 of the books in the series, not having read one of them. But that is the High Mountain Court, which is the 5 Crowns of Oakrith series. We have the High Mountain Court, the Witch's Blade, and the Roe Crown. So I really want to start this series because if I don't love it, again, we can remove it off my shelves. But if I do, I have 3 to binge, and they're not super long. But it says, it's a lone witch, a forgotten artifact, a powerful prince, and a world exploding into chaos. It says that 19-year-old Remy has known she is possibly the last Red Witch alive and is determined to stay that way, but the Northern Court King, who has slaughtered her family and placed a bounty on Red Witch heads, is intent on destroying her kind once and for all. When 4 Fae warriors find her, Remy comes face to face with a determined and handsome Prince Hale of the Eastern Kingdom. He claims he wants to stop a war with the Northern Court, and in order to do that, he needs a Red Witch. Yet even as she's drawn to him, can she really trust this prince? So we're starting Kingdoms, The Last Witch, spooky season. It's for spooky season. It's a witch. We have a prince, romance, guys. It's literally, oh my gosh, foot of glass. I'm so excited. Hopefully this book series is amazing because then I have 3 to binge. And I just really want to get to it finally. So hopefully we can do that. This fall, as I say for every single book. Next is more of a darker romance, okay, and that is The Book of Asriel, which is book 1 in the Gods and Monsters series. I don't know much about this, but I also was sent this book during a book exchange with my friends on Bookstagram, and I've heard amazing things about this series. Do I know what it's about? No. But it says, for 1,000 years after the gods' war, the Etherworld has known peace. But soon that too will change. An old enemy driven by revenge slowly builds an army behind the scenes. Temples are being ransacked in search of an item long lost, and enemies since the dawn of time must put aside their differences if they have any hope for survival. So what kind of a dark fantasy, high stakes series? Yes, yes. So again, fall, spooky season. Perfect. Next is another series I want to finish and then maybe one to start, okay? And this is a high fantasy series, but that is The Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne. I read the first book in the series, The Shadow of the Gods, last fall, and I loved that book, and I really want to finally finish this series before everything comes out of my brain. This is a series I like doing the immersive reading with because there's new words and terminology and pronunciations of words that I can't pronounce. So the audiobook while reading it is amazing, and they're thick, dense books. But it follows our characters, and there's like 3 different storylines going on, and it's kind of all them dealing with the aftermath of this entire world and how they're going to potentially come together. In this world, we have like gods that fought each other, and they ended up cracking like a hole in the earth, and that like led to creatures being born and created. We also have creatures who are results of gods and humans like intermingling, and so they have the gods' blood in them, and they can be controlled to use as weapons and shapeshift. We have a bunch of different creatures, found family, high stakes, political intrigue, scheming, politics. I'm so excited. I didn't think I could, again, my brain could really do the high fantasy, but I read it and I loved it. And I can't wait to finish this series and see what happens in it. What's amazing is that the second book I found out has a little summary of what happened in the first book. Like all books should do that with a cast of characters in there. Amazing, amazing. But yes, I'm very excited. This is a Norse-inspired epic fantasy with myth, magic, and bloody vengeance. Stunning. And then, if I happen to get through that, we do have Malice by John Gwynne, which is another series by him. This is the Faithful and the Fallen series, and just another epic high fantasy. I don't know much about this book. Besides, I bought it, and after I read the first book, I was like, I really do like his writing, I like his stories, I like the epic fantasy, and I would love to actually get lost in a big epic fantasy world and continue with it. So this one says, the world is broken and it can never be made whole again. And we have like 4 names back here, so I'm guessing again it's like kind of a mismatched group of people, all their storylines and how they come together with heavy fantasy, creatures, magical elements, political scheming, high stakes. I'm excited. Next is a book that I had gotten a while ago and really wanted to read. Did I get to it? No. But the second book just came out, so I'm hoping we can love this and read the next one also, and that is The Jasad Heir. This is an Egyptian-inspired epic fantasy debut, and it says it has a tale of shattered kingdoms, forbidden magic, and cunning royals. 10 years ago, the kingdom of Jasad burned, its magic was outlawed, the royal family murdered. At least that's what Sylvia wants people to believe. The heir of Jasad escaped the massacre, and she intends to stay hidden, especially from the armies of Nizal that continue to hunt her people. But a moment of anger changes everything when Aaron, the Nizal heir, tracks a group of Jasadi rebels to her village. Sylvia accidentally reveals her magic and captures his attention. Now Sylvia is forced to make a deal with her greatest enemy, help him hunt the rebels in exchange for her life. A deadly game begins. I'm so excited. I literally need to drop out of school, work, and everything and just sit in my bed and read for the rest of my life. Another series to have started. These are all books that are on my physical TBR, guys. This is saying a lot. I have lots of books that I need to get through. Okay, next we have another high fantasy that I've heard good things about, and that is this Kindred's Cursed Saga by Penn Cole. I have the first 2 books, Spark of the Everflame and Glow of the Everflame, and I'm really excited about this series. I've heard good things and some mixed things. I think some people say the characters are kind of insufferable, but nonetheless, I've still also heard really good things about this series. I don't know much, honestly, about them. Can you guys tell that that's what I just do? That is my trademark, is not knowing what books are about. But let's see what it says. When old secrets catch fire, everything will burn. In a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel magic-wielding offspring. I've heard the name. How do I pronounce it? Diem? Yearns to escape the insular life of poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offer her an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, enigmatic heir watching her every move and a ruthless rebel alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, DM will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of the mortal kind. So, again, I'm excited. The story, the plotline, the political intrigue, the mystery, the unknowns, the world, saving the worlds. I love it. I can't get sick of it. They're all kind of very similar in the general idea of it, and I love them every single time. So hopefully we can love this series, fall in love with this world, and continue with this series throughout the rest of this year and next year, because, you know, I have about 1,000 books in my TBR for the fall. So, The Will of the Many. I'm excited for this one. This is book 1 of the hierarchy. It is a fantasy book in an academy setting, so still dark academia vibes with fantasy. At the elite Katanan Academy, a young fugitive uncovers layered mysteries and world-changing secrets in this new fantasy series. I think he's going undercover in this academy. Okay. In order to survive, he will have to rise to the academy ranks, smile, make friends, and pretend to be one of them and win. Because if I cannot, then those who want to control me, who know my real name, will no longer have any use of me. And if the hierarchy finds out who I truly am, they will kill me. Like, it just sounds so good. It just sounds so good. I'm so excited. Okay. A new world to get lost in. Mystery, political intrigue, unknowns, questioning everything, pretending to be someone else in a society and trying to uncover secrets and surpass what's happening here while them not knowing who you are. Amazing. Anyways, next we have another recenter-ish release of this year that I never ended up getting to, but now it's the perfect time to get to it, and that is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I'm very excited for this one. I've heard really good things about this. She wrote the One Dark Window duology, which I really enjoyed. She's really known for like her dark, gothic, atmospheric writing, and I'm excited that this. All I know is there's a gargoyle in here named Bartholomew that people love. That's all I got for you. It says, it's a gothic, mist-cloaked tale of a young prophetess who is forced on an impossible quest with the one knight whose future she cannot see. I'm guessing romance, dark, atmospheric, whimsical writing, beautiful quotes, everything I need and more. Next, we have another release that came out this year that people were eating up when it came out, and that is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. There has been really good things about this, but also not such great things about this book. But I've heard people say it's really addictive and fast-paced and easy to get lost in. It's kind of like a dystopian fantasy book. I'm not exactly sure, but it says, "My name is Ren Darlington. I've been hiding who I am my entire life. Today will be no different." And it says, the first book of a sizzling dystopian romance series. Psychic gifts are a death sentence and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. I'm excited, okay? Books. I love them. Next is a series that I read a long time ago, but I think it's, again, perfect time to finally reread them and see what my thoughts are on it now, present day, and that is Hexed and Charmed by Michelle Cries. This is a witch duology story that I read a long time ago, and I really enjoyed it. Do I remember what it's about? Not really, but I remember that I enjoyed it. It says, something witchy this way comes. Indigo Blackwood is a popular cheerleader with a football star boyfriend and cool friends. On the surface, her life looks perfect. But when a guy dies violently right before her eyes and an ancient family Bible is stolen, Indy's world spirals into darkness. Turns out Indy isn't just a normal teenager, she has a destiny, and it involves more than pom-poms and parties. If she doesn't get that book back, every witch in existence will die, and that's seriously bad news for Indy because according to Bishop, the hot warlock, who has an uncanny knowledge of everything that matters, she's a witch too. So it kind of gives like that fun Disney witchy kind of show where like the popular girl finds out she's a witch and now she has to go on a quest to go get this book back to save witches, and then we have book 2. I'm very excited. Perfect for spooky season, fall, super short, nice and sweet. I feel like it's gonna give me exactly what I need to get those spooky vibes during October. So, on the list. Next, we have another fantasy series. It's a young adult fantasy series that I've been wanting to read for amazing things about it. Did not read it, so now it's time for the fall. The fall is like my catch-all. All the books I wanted to read now must be read. Will they? No, but we can dream. And that is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is a young adult book series following our main character, Bree Matthews. Her mother dies when she's 16 and she wants nothing to do with the family of memories or childhood home, and then she ends up being into a residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill. Seems like the perfect escape. However, she witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus, a flying demon feeding on human energies, a secret society of so-called Legendborn students that hunt the creatures down, a mysterious teen mage who calls himself a Merlin who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure reveals Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now Bree knows that there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, and should do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if that means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. She recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn with his own grudge against the group, and their reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into the society's secrets and closer to each other. Again, I've heard amazing things. It's a King Arthur kind of retelling, young adult, magical story, and I've heard amazing things about this series, and I'm so excited to finally read it, so we need to get to it this fall, like with all the other books. So. Next, I only own I think this is book 2 in this series, but her books are known to be really magical and whimsical, and I read Caraval by her and loved that trilogy during the fall winter time, and that is a Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, and it's like a fairy magical retelling-ish kind of vibes, and I'm excited. I've heard amazing things about the trilogy. People love this trilogy more than Caraval, and I'm really excited to see what it's about. I only have the second one, so I need to get the first one, obviously. But it says, not every love is meant to be. I don't actually want to read this because it is book 2. But I think there are some characters from the first book that are in this one, or like some of the main people involved in that storyline are also in here. And that's why I read Caraval first. But I'm really excited to read this one during the Christmassy, fall, winterish times and have like a little magical story, okay? Magical story, true loves, maybe no love, heartbreak, beauty. I'm so excited. Again, I've heard amazing things. I think people love the second one the most. So I'm excited. Okay, next we have another fantasy, I think, story. I don't even know, but this is by Leigh Bardugo. So we have Ninth House by her, and then we also have this one, and that is The Familiars by Leigh Bardugo. I just knew that I wanted to read this book in the fall, and I never did. So now is the time to do it again, okay? Put it on there once again. It says, it's a spellbinding novel set in the Spanish Golden Age. Fate can be changed, curses can be broken. In a shabby house in the new capital, Lucia uses scraps of magic to get through her days of endless toil as a scullion. And it says, but when her scheming mistress discovers that a lump of a servant cowering in the kitchen is actually hiding a talent for little miracles, she demands Lucia use those gifts to better the family's social position. What begins as a simple amusement for the nobility takes a perilous turn when Lucia garners the notice of Antonio Perez, the disgraced secretary to Spain's king. Still reeling from the defeat of his armada, the king is desperate for any advantage in war against England's heretic queen, and Perez will stop at nothing to regain the king's favor. Aimed to seize this one chance to better her fortune, Lucia plunges in a world of seers and alchemists, holy men and hucksters, where the lines between magic, science, and fraud are never certain. But as her notary grows, so does the danger that her Jewish blood will doom her to the Inquisition's wrath. She will have to use every bit of wit and will to survive, even if that means enlisting the help of Gillian, embittered immortal familiar whose own secrets could prove deadly for them both. It's giving fall. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And my last set of books, these are all part of a series that I need to finally get to. This is an old series, but it got resurfaced recently with a lot of popularity, and so I need to finally get it because I own the first 3 books in the series. And that is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Okay? I had the first 3 books. We have An Ember in the Ashes, A Torch Against the Night, and A Reaper at the Gates. All different covers, hard and soft. This one, I don't know much about. Okay, I'm going to say that to every single thing. This is my last book, so I need to stop saying that. But Leia is a slave, Elise is a soldier, neither are free. Under the martial empire, defiance is met with death. Leia and her family do not challenge the empire. They've seen what happens to those who do. But when Leia's brother is arrested for treason, she is forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the empire's greatest military academy. There, Leia meets Elias, the school's finest soldier, and secretly, its most unwilling. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and that their choices will change the fate of the empire itself. I've heard amazing things about this series, and I need to finally get to it. So that is why it's on my TBR for the fall. And real quick, books that I don't physically own, but I would potentially want to read, or that they're on Kindle Unlimited, or I might get them gifted to me in my gift exchange that are on my wish list, include Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. I read Phantasma last fall, and I loved that one. This is the second book in that series, or like the second one in the Interconnected series, so I would love to get to that one. Also, that's on Kindle Unlimited. Shield of Sparrows by Devaney Perry also has been really popular recently on Kindle Unlimited. Would love to get to that one. Riftborn, I want to get to that one. I've heard good things about it. Do I know what it's about? No. We have Avalon Tower. Again, I've heard things about that one. It's like an assassin academy. I think it's also on Kindle Unlimited. And then we have The Sword of Kaigen by Emma Huang. That is what I want to read really badly. That is like an epic fantasy standalone that I've heard amazing things about. So I really want to read that one, and probably one of my top for Kindle reads to be read. I also really want to read A Touch of Golden Madness. That's also supposed to be really good, popular. City of Gods and Monsters series by Kaylee Edwards. I really want to read that one. That one's on Kindle Unlimited, so I probably would read that on my Kindle. And it's another high fantasy series that I've heard amazing things about and has been really in the back of my brain wanting to be read. So definitely that one as well for my Kindle. And that's probably really it at the moment for my high list priority Kindle reads, okay? Those are my billion of books I have for the fall to read. Will I get to them all? No. But a girl can dream. About 77 books for the fall. I don't know who I think I am. I don't know. September, October, November, December. 77 books. If I read 20 books a month, that would be enough. If I read 20 books a month, I could do that. Will I do that? No, because I typically read like 2 books a month. So, a girl was gonna dream. But alas, hopefully we can get to a good chunk of these books. If I could get to just 20 books, a girl would be happy. As long as I'm reading just amazing books and loving my reads, I just can't wait. I can't wait for the vibes this season. It makes reading more fun. The chilly weather, the comfy pajamas, the decorations, everything is going to be just delicious, and I can't wait. So those are all the books that I have planned for my fall TBR, okay? Or my possibilities, my hopefuls, okay? And hopefully we can get to a good chunk of them. Catch up on series, start new series, finish series, read new releases, all the things. I'm so excited. Maybe find some new authors that I love, some new books that I love, new worlds and characters I'm obsessed with. I'm so excited. So let me know if you've read any of these books, which ones you think I should prioritize, which ones you think I should hold off on. Let me know what you're planning or hoping to read in the fall. Let me know what you're most excited for about the fall and any releases you're currently looking for. This right now is kind of all I have, and I would like to not really buy more books. But again, we never know what happens. But I really want to read my physical TBR. So this is all the things I'm hoping to get to this fall, guys. I'm so excited.